Oh shit. Damn. Oh, good Christ. Mm. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I figured that ending. Like, okay, like I feel like it should, especially with police. I feel like it should be common knowledge that when you find a body that's gagged, tied up, but still the person's still awake and alive, unharmed as of yet, but alive, but they've been tied up and gagged, it is most likely that it is a trap in one of two ways, or one of more ways, but coming to mind right now, one of two ways. Either the killer or the culprit responsible is still in the area and they're just waiting to pounce, they're just using the person tied up for bait, or it's an actual booby trapped trap with the tripwire, like with the tripwires, where you take one wrong step or one wrong move and you suddenly execute a series of contraptions and then just the person's dead. So you need to actually survey the area and be careful about. I feel like that should be common knowledge. When a person's tied up and gagged like that, but they're alive, it's a trap. Like the person responsible knows you're there to rescue them, but they're either still in the area or they've ensured that something will happen that will still do to the victim what they want to do. So I feel like that should have been obvious to them, but it wasn't. I feel like either way, either one of the tripwires would have tripped it anyway. So Deb noticed hers first and then tried to tell the officers to stop, but it was too late. It was too late. Oh god. So R.I.P. to the waitress. But I don't know how that's defilement. He spent like one night with her. I mean, is it like a wedlock thing or what? Because I mean, I think that's like a sin in the Bible, right? Like having intercourse out of wedlock. Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a shit ton of things that are a sin in the Bible. Some today, some are being made more like some are being made to be more sinful. Like some are being made to be sinful louder than others are, but there are a shit ton of sins in the Bible. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, the wedlock, the outside of like the sex outside of wedlock thing, I think that's a sin. But yeah, I think that's probably it. Or maybe, I mean, maybe he took away her V card or something. I don't know, but apparently he defiled her some way, so death was the only way to purify her again. Although I mean, she's not really living to be pure. You're just taking what I don't fucking know anyway. But yeah, R.I.P. to that waitress. But damn, this was a heavy episode, a heavy episode. And I think they're exploring the religion stuff. I think I personally think they're exploring the religion stuff fairly well. Like they're not like I think it's a very easy thing to do something to glorify this kind of faith, like the fact that you believe so heavily in faith that you try and impose that faith onto others in the way that you believe it in. I feel like it's very easy to glorify that, but also it's easy to villainize villainize religion as well, and to make it look like those who believe want nothing more than to use their faith to do harm on others. But this isn't really doing that. I think it's just doing a good job of showing how different people have different levels of faith in different things. Like even when it comes to religion, some people are super duper religious, some not so much. And even like different kinds of people, kind of they believe in different ways as well. They practice in different ways, and I think Brother Sam has been a very good example of one of the more. I mean, I don't want to speak. I mean, I'm not a heavily religious, but I think I've mentioned this before. I'm not a heavily religious person, so I don't want to speak on behalf of someone who actually may well be a heavily religious, or like who might be heavy on faith. But I feel like the way they portray Brother Sam's belief is actually like a healthy way. Like he has his faith that changed his life, and he's encouraging people to pick up that faith. He's encouraging people to actually be open-minded about it. He's not forcing anyone. He's explaining the way his belief works and how he actually practices his own faith. But he's not telling other people like, oh, this is the way, this is the right way, the best way, you have to follow this. But he is encouraging people to keep an open mind, because there was a time when he wasn't religious at all. Like, I think he never specified that he wasn't I think he did say that there was a time when people did talk to him about religion the way that he talks about religion now, and like sometimes it just made him want to punch them in the face. But then he had his own moment of enlightenment, and he changed. In his mind, he changed for the better, and he's become more accepting. And Jesus fucking Christ, it's windy. He's become more accepting and loving and kind of open to people, and he's open to like other people exploring religion in a way that suits them, which I think is, again, it's a healthy way. But yeah, I think Brother Sam as well, I like the way he's being incorporated into the show. And I think he's definitely one of those characters, like, you get them in almost every season, that, they have some connection to what's going on, like to the main story arc, and Dexter just immediately ends up befriending them in some way. I can't remember who it was in season 1. Brian Moser was his main connection in season 1. Then season 2 it was Lila, who kind of had a hand in helping him become the Bay Harbor Butcher. Season 3, it was Miguel Prado. Season 4, he kind of forged his own connection with Arthur Mitchell. Season 5, it was Lumen, and this time it's Brother Sam. So I think it's I think Lumen. I can't really guarantee anything for Brother Sam yet. Brother Sam, the way he's going, I highly doubt he's gonna ever kind of tip into an antagonistic role. I think he's so far, the way they're going with him is that he's actually a good character. He's a light in Dexter's life, in a manner of speaking. So I don't think they're gonna change that for any reason or at any time. So I'd say so far Lumen and Brother Sam are those connections that Dexter has more privately. That's better, that's more positive, and actually like there's a kind of there's help on both sides. He helps them, they help him in some way. So yeah, but yeah, I think Brother Sam, damn, we had some deep history with Brother Sam, like some horrible history. So his father, when he said that his father's job, like, he was a popular man and everyone called him Mister, and he, his father's job, as his father described it, was to do what he wanted when he wanted. I immediately got, like, kind of criminal vibes from that. Like, I felt like he was the kind of guy who, like, he shot a guy he killed a guy in cold blood, so he basically was a criminal. He did commit murder. But from that line alone, he gets what he wants when he wants. Like, that is his job. Like, he getting what he wants when he wants. I got the kind of like vibes where he kind of hunts people down for things, like for money or for favors or for something. And he kind of makes people do what he wants them to do, or he does things himself, and then other people get tired of him. Like, something like that, something along those lines. And then the story about how he drove up to a guy's house and told Sam to actually ring the doorbell, and he just used his son as bait. Like, so he rang the doorbell, got the guy to open the door, and then just shot him in the face. That struck a big chord, because, like, he literally just used his son for murder. Like, he used his son to draw the guy out. Because the guy would have checked through the the guy would have checked through the peephole to see who was there, and if he saw that it was Sam's father, he would have either he would have opened the door more prepared, or he would have just shot through the door itself and just tried to hope for the best. But he actually saw that Sam was there, like this little kid. So then he opened the door, and then bang, just a shot out of nowhere. So he used his son as bait in order to kill someone, which is, needless to say, it's fucked up. But I feel like that's again, like Sam said, like that was one of the reasons why, like that's like the more prominent reason as to why he went to prison as well. He went down a dark path after that, being traumatized by watching his dad kill someone and having used him to do so. So that was his. I mean, I don't want to overstep things and just overemphasize on different things and pull and try and pull at strings out there. But in a manner of speaking, that was kind of his born out of blood moment. Like, he saw this happening in front of him, and then it just changed his life for the worst. And then he went into prison, and then he was about to kill this guy who went into the chapel. And then as he was choking him out, he saw the sunlight coming through the window, and it just like lit up the room around him, and he saw everything, and it just made him stop. Like, he didn't want to do that anymore. So yeah, again, I think, and that's on more of an act of faith than like him actually taking that faith in and understanding that what he was doing was wrong, and that he should be a better man than his father, and he should be his own person and learn from what he saw that day, and try and move past it, but to use it to make him a better person as well. But yeah, that was that was hard to listen to. But yeah, I think that as well, like that, I think that would have confused Dexter even further as well, because I think another thing that they explored particularly well in this episode was faith itself, like the act of faith, the levels of faith, the meaning of faith, and it's something that like we as viewers, I feel like are actually exploring it almost at the same time as Dexter is, because I think most people watching this will have a good enough understanding of what faith means, or what like to be religious means. But with Dexter, he knows what it is, but he just doesn't know what it means to actually have that faith, or to actually invest in that kind of thing. And he even said at the end, when after the doctor went away, like Sam's a man of religion, Dexter's a man of science, and he works in science as well. Oh, I really should have had my coffee in the morning. It was a big mistake not to. But I think he not to say you can't have religious scientists. I think I have heard in some kind of research papers and stuff, there are scientists and doctors and people in scientific fields that still have some level of faith, and others who are agnostic or whatnot. But yeah, I think science versus religion, that's a big controversy, a big point of controversy. So I'm not going to go too deep into it. But yeah, I think it's very easy to see that with Dexter, it's always even with faith, it's like stuff like miracles. That's always more of a matter of chance. What's to say that what's to say that coffee cup wouldn't have fell, regardless of whether or not he actually made a pact with God to do whatever he wanted, so long as Harrison's safety was secured. He did that out of honestly, I think it can be said that a lot of those kind of declarations of faith are made in purely moments of pure emotional stress. When you're so stressed out, you don't know what's happening, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going to happen. So you try and put your faith in the nearest thing you think will actually be able to help you, and a common thing for that is God. So it's in times of emotional stress, you actually try and you not just that you say anything, or that you just say whatever just for the sake of saying it, but you actually try and reach out to something higher than yourself, something you think might be able to help you. And you just kind of talk out into thin air, because you need to get the words out, so you just talk out into the air and hope someone's listening, like that kind of stuff. I feel like sometimes I feel like that's always that can still be more of a matter of chance, but it's also it's like some people go so far as to try it once, see it work, and then just determine that for the rest of their life, and just leaving everything else up to miracles, and everything else up to the word of God, and the light of God helping you and stuff like that. So I feel like that was an interesting thing to explore this episode as well. With Dexter, he had lost all hope. He was a father just waiting to hear anything about his son. And he needed to hear something good, and he needed some positive results. So he was just kind of talking out, saying, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just please protect my son. Please keep him safe, keep him healthy, and all of that. So yeah, I think that was Dexter's first declaration declaration of faith. So yeah, I think I don't know how seriously he's gonna take it after that, because I think his words were like, I'll do anything you want me to do, I'll do whatever, just please protect my son. So I don't know if he's gonna stick to that. Harry himself even said like, that's your first words of faith coming through. So you made a pact, and now God's done His work on His end. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that actually pans out in the coming episodes. But yeah, so yeah, and I think Dexter's understanding of faith as well, I think that links in with what I said, like how people believe in something higher than themselves, but there's no real proof to be made that higher power actually exists. Like people can choose, people can believe whatever they want to believe, but it's like and it's something I've always found interesting as well. Like again, to do with like the chances of these miracles actually happening. Like people believe so heavily in these, but for a religious person, it's a sign of God and a sign of God's support. But for an atheist or even like a scientist, like it's literally just a matter of chance, and like a matter of very much more positive chance that the operation goes well, or that you get the coffee, or you win, or something good happens to you. So I think that alone is a touchy subject. Like no one can prove God exists, but then again, there's no proof to say that He doesn't. It's a kind of balance on equal sides. And some people try and tip the scales sometimes in violent ways, but I think I'd like to think that at least half the time there are those who kind of go free about their own way, just believing what they believe without enforcing others to believe the same thing. Which is the healthier way to do it. So yeah, I think it's always easy. I think it's always made more sense to actually see Dexter as a man of science and kind of statistics and whatnot, because the way he works as well. Like he works in forensics, and he looks at the facts that are already there and puts two and two together, and actually works out what happened, when it happened, and how it happened. And again, like with him, like the like he's never really had much of an opportunity to study faith or any kind of religion as he was growing up. Like that stuff didn't really seem very likely to make an impact on his life. Like what he was doing is not very rewarding in the Bible. If anything, it's super duper sinful. So yeah, I think that was referenced before anyway. So yeah, that was that. But Harrison's surgery, damn. I want to say that's a young age to have. I assume that was they said his appendix ruptured, so I assume that was surgery to fix or remove the appendix as well, because I think you can have your appendix removed. But I want to say that that's such a young age to have such a big surgery, but I think I have heard stories of babies having surgeries almost as soon as they're born, because something goes wrong with on the inside when they're born, and then they have to have surgery to fix that up straight afterwards. So that isn't unheard of. So I think him having surgery with this that's not exactly impossible either. But still, to have it's more it's more something that you wouldn't want to think about, a child having surgery at such a young age and going through that kind of pain. He's under anesthesia, so he wouldn't really feel any pain. And then Dexter just reading out the statistics, a child as young as that being under anesthesia is more likely to develop learning disabilities, or that kind of appendix. So that kind of appendix problem is complications are 59% more likely to happen. Just reading all sorts of horrible shit to just raise the anxiety levels even more. But yeah, he's still such a little boy. It's hard to imagine him going through something like that. So I'm still convinced he put sand or something in his mouth and he just ate that, or he or I don't know what common causes for an appendix problems are, but I mean. Appendix stuff. I mean, I assume that's more like natural causes, or maybe just like maybe just like a disagreement in the body itself. But I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I can't speak for that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just hard to imagine Harrison going through surgery at such a young age, and like just Dexter going through that kind of fatherly struggle as well, just not knowing if his son's gonna be okay. And they mentioned Astor and Cody as well, actually telling them about what the hell happened. But I think he made the smart move to actually not tell them as yet, because then they'd be worried sick just in the entire time. So telling them after it goes well is a better, is the logically the better option. Actually telling them, so this happened, but he's fine. It's all fixed up and stuff like that. So yeah, so that was that. Ryan. Again, I did not think that she'd end up actually selling the damn arm. Like actual... Because, I mean, that stuff's like actual murder evidence. Like, maybe keeping it on display in her own house, that's weird enough, and it's like, that's bad enough. But, I mean, again, and the fact that she actually stole evidence from the department, that's bad enough. But that's like actual murder evidence. That's like a dead woman's, like... dismembered arm, and she's auctioning that shit off, and there were people willing to buy it. I mean, I know the internet's a fucked up place, but still, like, that wasn't even on the dark web. That was on some bootleg eBay or something, like some generic looking auction site. And a guy actually still calling up to ask, oh, is it is this still for sale? Damn. And if it was even real as a whole either. But damn, like that shit, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how Ryan's mind works. I think I mean, her having painted the nails the same way was a bad enough sign that she wasn't exactly, sane. But yeah, I think I don't know why. I think I feel like as an intern, I feel like you should be more logical than that. Than especially an intern working at like such like a high level security place as a police department. Like stealing evidence, big a no. Taking it home. Well, stealing evidence, no. Taking it home, big no. Selling it online to strangers, massive no. Just everything about that is a no. So I feel like she was thinking. I mean, she did say she needed the money for the rent, but I mean, the internship. I mean, do people not get paid on internships? Like, is that not a thing? Like, do you like not like get like? Is it not like working and getting paid at the same time, or is it just like you're like is it just like a study program? I don't know, because I think apprenticeships that's where you work and get paid at the same time, but internships, I mean, I assume those are exclusively study programs, and you have to get like a separate job to actually get money for that. Which I don't know why she didn't do that. I mean, maybe her hours disagree with it, but either way, I mean, it's just like an ethical issue that she should have foreseen, like like not have to resort to stealing like murder evidence and selling that online just to get some rent money. But I don't know. But she has been. Well, Masuka said it's over and to get out. So I assume her internship has now come to a brief end, and that she has to look elsewhere for a job. But yeah, I figured from the moment she bagged that arm, I figured something bad would happen. But I didn't think it would be her selling it away for money. But yeah, that's that. What else? James Geller. So that's the guy then. So we have Travis, and we have James Geller. So he's the older dude who's guiding Travis through this kind of path of faith and these alpha omega killings. Until they specify otherwise, I am still going with my 7 deadly sins theory. because I feel like that's more logical than anything else. I think, with because I think, what would it be like? Nathan's sin was never revealed. What he did wrong was never revealed, but the other ones, I think, I don't know what they were either. But the 7 deadly sins, I mean, with the waitress, I guess it could be lust, because she did sleep with Travis like on the night of their date, and it just goes without saying, just watching them doing it through the hinges of the door, creepy as all shit. But I mean, this isn't exactly a conventional dude, so I mean, it makes it no less right. Makes it no less wrong or no more right. I'm confusing myself with my choice of words here, but either way, he's not exactly a sane man. So yeah. But I would assume maybe I think I would assume her sin was lust from the 7 deadly sins. So yeah, I think, and he did say that she's been defiled and this is the best thing for her and to make her pure again. I mean, you would think if you want to purify someone, you want them to keep living life after having been purified, but no, apparently death is being purified. Apparently, just being wiped off the face of the earth is being purified. I mean, unless he was counting on the police having noticed those tripwires before having stepped over them. I mean, I don't know, but I mean. Yeah, I think the intention was always for her to die. So if she didn't die that way, then he would have tried to get her to die another way. I think maybe that's why Travis was there. But yeah, Travis was there at the crime scene at the end with the locusts. So yeah, I mean, with the locusts, like what that reminds me of is the whole the thing with Moses and splitting the Red Sea, the plague, all of that stuff, the Prince of Egypt, the animated movie, and the original stuff. I mean, I assume that's still based even loosely off the original Moses story. It's been too long since I've watched that film. But yeah, I think the locust, that reminds me of the story of Moses in Egypt and all of that stuff. But that one is to do more with the Book of Revelations and whatnot. So James Geller, so he was a professor fired a while back, and it's because he stole the sword of John the Revelator. My penmanship is horrible. But yeah, the sword of John the Revelator. So I think he probably a religious studies professor, but then so that means he's been planning this. Then he stole it to do it, but then he was probably caught doing the theft, and then so then he went underground. Or maybe he didn't care and he just dealt with being fired anyway, and he just went underground with Travis. But yeah, so he stole it, and then he's probably been preparing for this whole Book of Revelations thing since then. And then whenever it was that he took Travis under his wing, I think Travis said his parents died when he was 14, and then he was raised under his sister ever since. So I think maybe at some point then he came across Travis and started this whole mentorship thing with him. But yeah, so that's James Geller. So the Alpha Omega killings. So the Book of Revelations talks about the end of the world. Then the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I'm ever so slightly familiar with them, mainly because I've watched Supernatural. But yeah, the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, I think. Who are they? Who are the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse? I have to do some religious research. 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So yeah, the Book of Revelations. What are they? So there's the white horse, the red horse, the black horse, and the pale. I mean, the 4 horsemen, isn't that something to do with famine, war, plague, and something else? Or am I completely wrong with that? Yeah, so conquest, war, famine. I mean, this is Wikipedia, so I have no idea how fucking accurate this is. But the White Rider is conquest. The Red Rider is war, the Black Rider is famine, and the Pale Rider is death. Yeah. Huh. So, the Four Horsemen, so... they were the ones who come down, like, Judgment Day, that's like, you know, obviously when all of humanity is judged upon its sins and upon its good deeds and all that, and then it's determined who goes up to heaven and who gets fucking roasted down in hell. But the Four Horsemen, I think they're the ones who come down and pick off the ones who are bad, right? Like, the apocalypse comes, it's the end of the world, it's Judgment Day, and then, yeah, so then, like, the sinners actually do that stuff. So no, I don't want to disable ad blocker. Fuck off. Yeah. So first horseman, the rider on the white horse. The rider on the red horse. I have no idea what I'm actually looking for. I don't know where I'm looking for this. What they symbolize. The rider on the white horse is the Antichrist. Okay, yeah. I have no idea how much of this is accurate, how much of this is paraphrased, how much of this is just mistranslated. So, yeah. I have no clue whatsoever. That's super helpful. But a white horse is war, a red horse is famine, a black horse is plague. Wait. No, conquest is white horse, war is a red horse, famine is a black horse, and plague is a pale horse. Okay, well, I'm not really a huge amount closer to understanding how all of this works out. It's been too long since I've watched that season of Supernatural, so I couldn't really recall those details if I tried. But the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, I think that's like, so I assume those are the ones who pick off all the sinners and come down and bring on Judgment Day and all of that crap. Well, all of that stuff, I shouldn't speak insensitively, so all of that stuff. But yeah, so the Doomsday Killer, so that's what they've actually dubbed him, or the Doomsday Killers in this case, because we have more than one. We have both Travis and Mr. Geller. So yeah, so those are our two Doomsday Killers. So now Dexter's actually seen one of them. He's seen one of them, and he's identified him as a man of faith, like similar to Sam's. But I think he knows that this man is one who uses. He probably has a feeling that this man is one who uses his faith for wrongdoings in the name of good doings, and in the name of God. So I think he actually knows, like, he has an idea that this is one of the suspects he's looking for. But yeah, so Doomsday Killer, we got Geller and we got Travis. So 7 Deadly Sins, I'm still calling it for that one, but in what order he's going with this, I don't know. Like, how quickly he's going with this, I don't know that either, because, you know, the fruit vendor, I think he had like connections to the cartels or something, right? I think so. Yeah, I think he had connections to the cartel. The prostitute, I think she was just she was a tooth fairy thing. But this one, the waitress, I think she was lust, probably, because she slept with Travis after their date. So yeah, so I think 7 Deadly Sins, I feel like that is a good enough. I mean, again, it hasn't been mentioned yet, but I mean, I feel like that should be a good enough sign that it's not what this episode, what this one is to do with. But yeah, I think, and having Mike around is actually a good help as well. As jealous and as smug as Quinn wants to be that there is a new detective that's capable of knowing all this stuff on the team, you know, obviously having Mike around is a big help to Deborah. Like, you know, actually having someone with this religious kind of background knowledge, and being able to deduce all of this stuff, is a huge help. So looking forward to seeing more of Mike working with the team on this one. But yeah, so that's the Alpha Omega stuff. And again, I think it's just it's like, I think like they've already said, it's just a guy with his own faith, interpreting his own faith his own way, but obviously it's a very violent interpretation of the faith, and he's imposing that on other people, which is very wrong. So yeah, but I mean, he is like a man with his own faith, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just the way he's going about actually practicing his faith and exacting his faith on the world, thinking he's saving the world when he's just murdering innocent people. So yeah, that's that. What else? Deb's first kind of like big task as lieutenant, like actually giving out a press conference, and I think in the moment, I actually kind of thought it was, like, obviously Deb's nervous and she knows what she has to do, but she's not going to be the same as LaGuerta. LaGuerta and Deb are two very different people, rightfully, and they're going to handle this in different ways. But with Deb, I think in the moment I figured her being straight to the point and forward about it and not trying to sugarcoat anything. Obviously, you don't tell the public everything you tell them the necessary details, which I guess she kind of did. But I mean, I think it's her being her. She remained up until the swearing, she maintained some sense of professionalism. But I think, her focus, I think, was much more on being straightforward, reassuring the public that they were going to catch the guy who did it, or catch the fucker who did it, and actually being straight to the point and actually telling people what's going on and how it's going down and stuff like that, which obviously they didn't really take to heart so well. But I think she's still like, new enough at this job to like not be fully able to understand what's right and what's wrong in terms of telling the public things. So she's still learning, and I think not enough people are giving credit towards that fact, that the fact that she's still learning and that she's still new to this job, and she's still kind of she's gonna make mistakes as she goes along. But I think people are focusing more on the fact that she's a lieutenant, she should have prepared for this and all that stuff. So it's just even more pressure on Deb than what's really necessary. But we know Deb. We know she's a strong woman. She's a strong character. She will handle herself well. So yeah. So looking forward to seeing how she actually handles the rest of this Alpha Omega stuff and how she handles being a lieutenant overall. And she's got Mike in her corner, ready to back her up with some religious knowledge and all that. So yeah, it's I feel like it's going to go well. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this particular episode. It's been too long since I've actually watched Dexter, so I feel like I should be putting out more. But right now, like for this reaction, this is all I can really pull out. But yeah, that was Dexter season 6, episode 4, titled "A Horse of a Different Color." So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on either of the episode and what you think is coming up next for Dexter and company. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys next time.